Hey guys, let's get more news about Miami Heat, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Udoni's Haslam offers major stamp of approval in regards to Lakers targeting Dan Hurley. Miami Heat legend Udoni's Haslam shared his thoughts on the recent reports that the Los Angeles Lakers are targeting Dan Hurley to be their next head coach. Hurley is currently the head coach of the University of Connecticut men's basketball team and led UConn to back-to-back national titles in the 2022-23 season and 2023-24 campaign. "I love it," Haslam said of the Lakers reportedly targeting Hurley. "I love shaking things up a little bit. Oftentimes, when you have NBA veterans that have had an amount of success, we get comfortable. And I think for the Lakers, if they want to get back in those championship conversations, if they're going to be considered a serious contender in the West, they gotta get back comfortable being uncomfortable. So, I think bringing in a different personality, somebody with a little bit of energy. If you look at his track record, what he did at Wagner College, his best season was about 25-6, something like that. I think what he did at the University of Rhode Island, he won about 60% of his games. And obviously, we know what he did at UConn. So, bringing in somebody that's going to get these guys back comfortable being uncomfortable, I think we can now start to put these guys back in those championship conversations because they have the talent with LeBron James, and AD, Anthony Davis. I think they just gotta get these guys out of their comfort zone. I think understanding that just because Bron doesn't have to practice every day doesn't mean everybody doesn't have to practice every day. Those guys still need to be getting there, honing their skills and still building those habits. And I think this is a great move for the Lakers. This is what I'm talking about. I love this move for the Lakers. I think they got it right if they can get this one to go through. Haslam is a former teammate of James and won 3 NBA titles in his career, including 2 alongside the Lakers star in Miami. Hurley certainly would be a different hire for Los Angeles since he has never held a head coaching position at the NBA level, but his success in the collegiate game is undeniable. Over the last 4 seasons, UConn has made the NCAA tournament in each campaign under Hurley, and he also led Rhode Island to back-to-back NCAA tournament appearances before taking the UConn job ahead of the 2018-19 season. The Athletic's Sam Vecenie praised Hurley on social media following the report from ESPN's Adrian Wojnarowski, shouting out his ability to not only coach the X's and O's of basketball, but also to get his team ready to play on a nightly basis. Hurley showed that in the 2023-24 season, as UConn stormed through the NCAA tournament, winning every game by double digits on its way to a second straight national title. He didn't let his team's effort slip no matter the opponent in the postseason. The Lakers have had 3 different coaches since James signed with the franchise ahead of the 2018-19 season: Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, who won a title in the 2019-20 season, and Darvin Ham, all of whom had NBA backgrounds in their coaching and/or playing careers. Hurley certainly differs from the 3, but it could be just what the Lakers need for their current roster. Los Angeles is looking to get back to the NBA Finals in the 2024-25 season for the first time since winning it all in the 2020 NBA Finals. The Lakers did reach the Western Conference Finals in their first season under Ham, but they were knocked out in the first round of the playoffs this season. Proposed trade sends Heat rising former number 2 pick for Jimmy Butler. Until it's confirmed, the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler remain a united front with one another. However, if they dissolve their union this coming offseason, there will likely be plenty of suitors for him. One possible suitor is the Houston Rockets. If Butler and the Heat are on the outs, Bleacher Report's Grant Hughes outlined the following trade between those teams. Green averaged 27.7 points per game as Houston went 13-2 in March, but he's also extension eligible and won't be cheap much longer. One imagines the Heat would be more comfortable giving long-term cash to an early 20s player on the rise, though. add in Brooks, who would fit perfectly into #Heat culture, a 12-spot jump to number 3 in the draft, and Miami comes out of this looking pretty good, particularly if it's itching to put a period on the Butler era. Green was the number 2 pick in the 2021 NBA draft. Like Hughes alluded to, it looked like he may have started to put it together. However, if the Heat consider a deal like this, they must factor in the small sample size. Bleacher Report's Greg Swartz called Butler the Rockets' dream target. He explained why the Heat should look into what the Rockets have to offer for Butler. Trading him now and building around 26-year-old Bam Adebayo, 24-year-old Tyler Herro, and 23-year-old Jamie Butler Jr. with some young talent from the Rockets should be under consideration by Miami. He also included the package the Rockets could give the Heat in exchange for Butler. An offer of Jabari Smith Jr., Amen Thompson, Dillon Brooks, and the number 3 overall pick for Butler should at least be worth having for both sides. The Heat should consider getting young talent for Butler while they have the chance. However, since they've had Butler on the team, the Heat have always been a title contender. It hasn't mattered what seed they have finished with. Butler has helped them make the NBA Finals twice. Maybe his best days are behind him, but he has shown that if he is your best player, the NBA Finals is a possibility. That's not a guarantee with the likes of Green or Smith. While doing a mock draft for 2024, Hoops Hype's Michael Scotto reported that the Rockets could discuss a trade. The number 3 pick, one of 5 potential first-round picks the Rockets can trade this offseason in a package to land a star player, will be discussed in trade talks leading up to draft night, Scotto wrote. The 2024 NBA draft has not been labeled as one that will have much upfront talent to offer. However, the Heat have proven for the last few years that they know how to find young talent who can help. With picks like Herro and Butler, the Heat have formed a solid foundation. With the number 3 pick, they would have a rare opportunity to get a franchise player, but only if they choose right. The last time the Heat had that chance was in 2008 when they drafted Michael Beasley with the number 2 pick. The Heat have a Jimmy Butler problem, and it will only get worse. The Miami Heat have been one of the premier franchises in the NBA for a long time. Ever since Pat Riley and his standard of excellence have overlapped with the organization, Heat culture has become intertwined in the fabric of everything the Heat does. No one is beyond reproach, and the ultimate team goal is greater than the talents or ambitions of any one individual. That is why Jimmy Butler was such a seamless fit with the team when he was signed and traded back in the summer of 2019. Jimmy's relentless work ethic, ability to elevate his performance in the postseason and be a leader have been invaluable in this era in Miami, and he is the main reason the team has been to 2 of the last 5 NBA Finals series. But ultimately, the Heat have been unable to get over the hump under Butler's tutelage and achieve the ultimate goal of winning a championship. You can chalk that up to several factors. In 2020, Bam Adebayo was forced to miss 1/3 of the finals due to injury, and in 2023 Jimmy's ankle injury clearly had him playing below his standards for much of the latter half of the playoffs. On the injury front, this past season was much of the same story. Butler missed 22 games due to a variety of injuries, including multiple knee and ankle problems. When the playoffs arrived, he was unable to go at all, missing all 5 of Miami's games in the first round against Boston. Of course, after the series was over, Jimmy was happy to publicly state that the Celtics and Knicks would be at home if he had been playing. As a competitor, it is perfectly fine for Butler to believe this, but Pat Riley clearly took issue with it being said publicly. However, the bigger issue remains that he was not on the court when it mattered most. Yes, Boston has been a juggernaut this season, and the likelihood Miami takes them down even with Jimmy on the court is probably low. But in an otherwise wide-open conference and given their history of going toe-to-toe with the Celtics, it would have been nice for the Heat's best player to have been on the court so we would have known for sure. In the end, this represents Miami's Jimmy Butler problem. The bottom line is that he will be 35 years old at the start of next season, and he is likely not going to become any less injury-prone. Jimmy is as tough as they come both mentally and physically, and having him at full strength on your roster in the playoffs is of course a major boost. But what the Heat do not want is to end up like the Clippers. For years now, the story in Los Angeles has been, well, if only Kawhi Leonard had been healthy in the playoffs, things would have been different. The scary part of this comparison is the fact that Butler is 2 years older than Leonard. Miami should be very wary of continuing to bank on the health of an aging star that may or may not be available when all the chips are on the table. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Jimmy Butler? Leave your opinion in the comments.